Hello there. Today I'm going to be using the Zodiac Leo stamp set from Visible Image to make this sweet little watercoloured octagon shaped card. So the first thing I'm going to do is to heat emboss with white embossing powder the largest lion head in the stamp set. I'm afraid the white embossing doesn't actually show up very well in this video, but you'll see it when I start to colour it. So here I started to colour direct onto the watercolour paper and then thought it was a little bit too dark. So I ended up using my craft mat to scribble the distress markers onto and used a paintbrush with some water to soften it. I will put the details of all the colours that I used in the description below this video, because I did end up showing the markers to the camera a little bit too fast for you to pick up the colours' names. So here I'm taking some masking fluid and I'm going to paint it onto the lion head image so that it's all protected when I start to add the brightly coloured distress stains around it. Whilst the masking fluid dries, I'm going to create the base mat for the card. I add water all around the outside edges on the watercolour paper, and then I pounce distress stains onto them. And by pouncing I mean just bouncing the felt onto the watercolour paper. I will add the names of these distress stains in the description below, because once again I was a little fast showing it to the camera. So now we'll do the same thing with the main panel. I'm masking off an area on the card because when you do pounce with distress stains they do splatter a little bit. But I have plenty of water on this card, so it's all going to mix in, and when I take the card away, as you see there is a sharp line, so you just add a few gentle bits of distress stain just to make it a bit more organic on the edge. So I noticed that I had one or two too many splatters, and all I'm doing here is just putting some water onto those splatters and mopping it up with a piece of paper towel. And a little bit of chipped sapphire distressing around the edges will help to define those edges once we get the white mat behind it. Here's where I realised I shouldn't have removed the masking fluid quite so quickly because I was still stamping around the lion head. So I just made a quick mask out of a post-it note. And you'll see that I'm stamping and adding embossing powder to each of those constellations separately, only because the light was so difficult in the studio that day that I couldn't really see where I stamped. But normally I would stamp all the constellations in the Versamark and add the embossing powder at the end. I wanted a very thin white border around the outside of this main panel so that it stood out from the mat behind it. So here I'm using a ruler from the Perfect Layers set and adding a 1/16 of an inch border around the edge. Because distress inks will start to move and wick again as soon as you add something wet to them, I'm just protecting the lion image with some micro glaze. I think you can get some from Ranger now, and that just puts a barrier down before I add the stickles to the top. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and thank you very much for watching.